What's up, everyone? Well, welcome to the Sullivan Project podcast. I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. Make sure this bad boy's okay here. If y'all haven't tuned in before, I lost my sight. In June this year, it'll be 4 years. I lost my sight. And I was born with an autoimmune disease. And I've been in a power wheelchair since I was around 9 or 10, maybe a little younger. But you know what? We're all here for a reason. Everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. And that's what this podcast is all about. A voice to the voiceless. If you want to come on and just get something out or have me say something for you, you can call, leave a message at 724-513-1472. You can email hs19782015 at outlook.com. And you can check us out on YouTube and TikTok under Harold Sullivan 78 and Facebook Harold Sullivan period 35. And I just started a podcast to help people and to let everybody know you got a place to go. You can talk to somebody. You know, we all need somebody at some point. And we talk about everything on here. Not just spiritual or metaphysical and supernatural, paranormal, but movies and TV and just everyday life stuff and food and family, you know, whatever. It's just a place to just chill and talk, you know, like being around the coffee table, right? And there's always tons and tons of different things in there. So go check out the previous couple hundred episodes. And celebrities too, and music, all kinds of stuff. First, some somber notes. A friend of the show, Laura Park Lincoln from Friday the 13th has passed away. She was in part 7. Tina. She played Tina Shepard. The girl with the psychic powers, kind of like Carrie. She gave Jason his best match, in my opinion. Then he fought Freddy years later. And she's been on the podcast a few times. And I was actually talking to her about a project. And then she's passed. And you know what? It's so odd because I had a few psychic things happen a few days in a row, right? And I was having these images and visions and whatnot and things and hearing things. And then either a night or 2 nights before, okay, I found out. I literally heard, I was laying in bed and I heard it. Read to my mind, you know, read to me. In my mind, I heard Laura Park Lincoln, Friday the 13th star, dies, you know, something to that effect. And then, my hip was hurting so bad the last few days too. I just don't get this. I'll be fine. And then I just got these, I've always had it, this autoimmune disease. I'm in constant pain. I don't have any cartilage. And I can barely do anything because nothing moves anymore. But like I said, I'm still going, you know, until the light goes out permanently, right? But yeah, she passed, and I found out on Facebook. My sister, my caregiver, read me the thing, and it was exactly how I heard it, or how I heard it. It was just creepy and eerie, and I was like, "What?" And I asked her a few times to repeat it. It was like I heard it or knew it was going to happen, and it just saddened me. And I'm still. This is a few weeks ago as I recorded this. This happened, and I'm still, you know, but I know she's not gone. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking it was cancer. That's the most I can find out. Only 60 something, in her early 60s. God bless. But she's gone, you know. So I got some movie reviews here, though, and a couple other things. Oh, I talked about Star Wars Obi-Wan, the show, recently. And they actually have a documentary about the making of it, about the 6-episode miniseries. So that's on Disney Plus, I think. It's very good, too, so I'd check that out. I was a little hesitant on the prequel type stuff, you know, because I'm a fan of the originals. There was 3 of them, you know, and we're going to talk about that. I might as well get into the review about that right now. I'm a lean time to time because I just got, and I still can't get a new cushion for my chair. I've been trying for 3 years, right? I got sores on my hip, you know, and I can't get help from anyone with this. Just a new cushion, you know. The wheelchair place is making me jump through hoops, literally. But yeah, Star Wars Trilogy, the original trilogy, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I'm going to give the whole trilogy an 8 out of 10, and probably each movie an 8, which I'm giving high scores. Because there are some things that I went back recently and listened to the movie without sight, or the movies, all three of them. And before of course, I'd seen them a million times, even the special editions. But I caught a couple of things that make a little bit more sense than I did before. So it still doesn't make sense to me how Obi-Wan says he doesn't never remember owning a droid or any of that, but yet they had all adventures in the past. But also in A New Hope, Luke seems to already know Ben when he talks to him, like they ran into each other before. So that kind of fits in with the spoilers, the end of the Obi-Wan show. He meets a young Luke. So, but I give that, yeah, that. I mean, it's one of the greatest. I mean, George Lucas created a whole universe, literally, a universe that's still going, and he got like $4 billion or something, 3 billion something for all his stuff. So, and he couldn't even write, at first. He didn't want to write, and look what he created. So we got that. Also, Mr. Crockett, I've been hearing about and talking about it. New horror movie, brand new. It's good. It's messed up. These new horror movies, I haven't done a lot of them, the last 10, 15 years or so. But it's like a twisted Mr. Rogers, Howdy Doody type kids show, game show guy. Not a game show, but like a host of a show. And he comes and takes his kids to his play world, basically, almost like a Pee Wee Herman type. I believe it's black cast though, and it's just so good because it's real, it's gritty, it's they don't play around, it ain't jokey. A lot of white stuff is even serious horror is comedy, and that's just, or when they put black people in movies, they make fun of them and they're not serious. But when there's black horror, I love it. I love it. It's just so real. Too bad they can't get a mix, or even white people to do horror really good seriously. Because I love movies when they're good. Period. It doesn't matter who makes them. But I'm glad that we're finally getting uh, diverse, and people are getting respect in the films and the genres. So I give that movie, I don't know, 7.5. Very good though. It's on. I think I rented it. I'm not sure. And recently I did Popeye the Slayer Man. Of course, go check that out. And ALF season one. ALF from the '80s, late '80s. There's 20 something again. Back then they did 20 something episodes a season in the '80s, '90s, all the way up to the early 2000s. I had shows I watched for 15 years. Supernatural, 20 some episodes a season. X Files was 20 some episodes a season, except for like the last season. They went on for over 10 years. Same with Supernatural. Smallville. And same with Quantum Leap. They were like 4 or 5 years. ALF, same thing, 20 episodes a season though. But anyway, ALF was funny. And a lot of stuff he did was he was at home and he would call and get in trouble, like calling places and acting like he was the family, the Tanners, which is like Full House. That must have been a common name back then, the Tanners. But ALF crash lands. He's a little hairy alien guy, about 2 to 3 feet tall or so, and he lands on this property. And there's a guy and his wife and son and teenage daughter. They got a nosy neighbor, and ALF gets in all kinds of trouble. One time he's selling Avon. One time he calls the president and somehow gets through, causes all kinds of stuff, and the FBI ends up at the house. And they're supposed to be bringing him back on Ryan Reynolds' network, but I can't find out about that. Let me know if y'all can find out, because ALF is hilarious. And I think it was puppets, maybe a small person in the suit, whenever they showed ALF running around. I'm not sure. But ALF probably 7.5 to 8 too. That was just the first season. It was so good. And it's like, how do you just keep it going? They're half-hour episodes though, like 20-something minutes each. So you could do 3 or 4 or 5 in a row. But they were just so well written. These '80s comedies, nothing like today. They just can't do it. And they didn't run out of ideas, and you were entertained, and it was innocent. Okay, and then we got the X-Files movie. Speaking of the X-Files, the first movie, there was 2. The second one was I Want to Believe or something, which was one of the taglines. There was Trust No One. There was the X-Files. The truth is out there. But the first movie was really good. I'd probably give that about an 8. And I'd forgotten how good it was without sight. It was like a maybe 2 to 3 episodes put together, kind of, but a full movie in the theaters. And it's odd for them to do a TV show and then make a movie. They did that with Firefly and Serenity and a couple other things, but it just, if you didn't see X Files, the movie is still good. You didn't need the TV show, and it continued on the story kind of. So yeah, I'd give it about an 8. The second one, the sequel, I'm not going to review it, but it was like one of the off episodes that didn't have the main storyline. So it was still good too, though. A lot of people didn't like it, and I kind of didn't get it the first few times, But if you're a fan of the X Files, then you're a fan. Also, All Eyes on Me, the movie about Tupac. Kat Graham is in there. She plays Jada Pinkett. In case y'all didn't know, Tupac and Jada had a relationship for a while, and they could have got married and had kids one day. Who knows? But Wesley Shipp Jr., I think is the guy's name, that plays Tupac. I mean, the voices are right on in this. Everybody's voice, from Snoop Dogg and all of them to Tupac's. I don't remember how accurate they looked, but I believe they looked pretty close too. And I just love when they do these movies, but then they got people that can sing and play the parts too. And because you get more of the person, even though they're gone, like the Ray Charles, and there's a new Whitney one, and the Elvis is really good. So, computer, what are my stickies?
I found 14
This
notes.
side, take notes now.
Selling Superman, All Eyes on Me, Never Sleep Again, Lindsay Lohan, The X-Files.
Computer, stop. A Lindsay Lohan biography by Sarah Marshall. And the audiobook I just listened to recently. It's about 7-8 hours long. And she's still young, so I don't know why she did an autobiography or a biography already, but it's a good book. And it talks a lot about her. I was a fan of her back in the younger days. I mean, Hurley Herbie, and was probably one of the last movies I saw her in. So she had a thing for a while, but she was in so many movies for like a couple of years. And then I don't know, that was it. They kind of blackballed her. But it's a good book if anybody's a Lindsay Lohan fan. Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street documentary that came out in like 2012 or so, somewhere around there, 2010, before the remake, because it covers everything up until the remake. It's pretty good. I'd probably say 7.5 for that. I checked it out years ago a few times. I had the DVDs, of course. And Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy in a couple of the Elm Street movies, she was the host of it. And a lot of good bits, in there. It's about 4 hours long, I'd say. Selling Superman is another documentary. It's about 3 hours or so. Brand new, just came out. It's about that guy they found. He had 300,000 comics he was hoarding, right? His family knew he had them, but they didn't know what. And when he died, they found he had Superman #1 and Batman #1. Superman #1 is like 3 million or so in that condition that they found. It's not Action Comics #1, which was Superman's first appearance, but it's like the second best Superman comic. And the stuff, like the documentaries about them going to conventions, finding out what stuff was worth, making connections, selling lots of little stuff, because he had so many comics and lots of doubles and triples and just tons of #1s and issues and important ones they didn't know. It's just amazed. They were amazed. So if you're a fan of any of that, plus the family, how in 40 years how they had to deal with this, and the man passed and his wife divorced him and all this, but it's called Selling Superman. I really recommend that. Computer, what are my stickies?
I found 14 notes. Selling Superman, All Eyes on Me, Never Sleep Again, Lindsay Lohan, The X-Files movie, The Moon, Obi-Wan, Star Wars Trilogy, Philadelphia Experiment, Mr. Crockett out Season 1.
Computer, stop. And then also I wanted to mention about the moon. I talked about that recently again. How they're saying that the moon is hollow, and there's something under there. And on one of the Apollo missions, they saw flying saucers on the moon. Now, I didn't know that other countries hadn't went to the moon or landed or been back, and we haven't been back since Apollo 17. So it's just odd. Why not go back there? What happened? There's something going on there. Now they're supposed to go in there and get minerals and stuff and bring it back and forth. And they're building bases now, but the bases have been there. So there's something on the moon there. And there's a thing that maybe it was put there, like something towed the moon and just stuck it there because it blocks off just the right amount of sun and it keeps the gravity just right for the Earth and for us to be on it. And it's just like no other moon, apparently. So there's something going on with the moon. And just another thing to think about here because we're not alone, first of all, and it's just not us. And there's more than one thing. It's just not what you see. So love is a choice, and so is the hate, we like to say. And we'll be back soon.